Anyway, this video really captures just really what an HXP trip is like. So I'm going to show you that 2-minute video, and then we're going to jump into some introductions from our panel, our previous parent builders who are so willing to be on this panel tonight. And then we'll just have, from there, we'll just have questions. So you guys are welcome to put them in the chat. You're welcome to just shout them out. And we'll have probably about 2 of the parents from the panel chime in and answer those questions, and feel free to ask follow-up, whatever you guys have. This is for you. We want you to get questions answered, concerns kind of resolved if you have any big things that you're wondering about. So first, for any of you who don't know the history of humanitarian experience, we've actually been around since 1999. It wasn't called humanitarian experience at the time, but that's when our founder, Glenn Bingham, he took his 16-year-old son to Brazil, where Glenn himself had served his mission. And they went on we call it the first ever HXP trip, just with one builder. His name was David Bingham. He was a 16-year-old boy that had come to his parents with a list of cars that he wanted for his 16th birthday. And that's when his parents thought, we should probably go do some type of an experience, or have some type of an experience that can show him a little bit more about what this life is like. So from then on, every summer following, just different neighbors and friends wanted their children to have a similar experience to what David had experienced. So it kept happening. It kept growing, and we have just organically grown since 1999 from one builder. Now this year we will have almost 6,000 builders that will be all around the world. And last year during the pandemic, we still ran trips, which was a complete miracle. And in addition, we opened our first ever domestic trips. So if you guys have questions about our domestic mainland trips, would love to answer any of those, as well as anything about our international trips. So our domestic trips are for 14 to 16-year-olds, and every trip, no matter international or domestic, has a mom builder and a dad builder. And then our international trips are 16 to 19-year-olds. So as you may have already seen or known, some of you, we've got probably all spectrums of familiarity here. So we had registration last week, but registration's still happening. A lot of times our kids spots will fill up, and the remaining spots that we have are only for parent builders. And the way a kid can get in is if their parent joins them, because with every parent spot, there is a hidden kid spot so that you get to bring your child. We're not making you sign up on your own to come on one of these trips. So here in a month or so, that's probably going to be more what it's going to be like, is if a kid wants to get on a trip, then they have to convince their mom or dad to come, which hopefully this will help to clear up any questions like that of we can do any convincing here on these parent builders end, because they have experienced it themselves and have had the life-changing experience that these trips truly do offer, for parents included, not just for the kids. But my email that I can be reached at, as well as Tina, who works on our parent builder team, and she's one of our panel members tonight, so she'll introduce herself. But Tina's a previous parent builder from this last summer. She's had a couple kids go, which she'll say all that. But anyway, she's on the parent builder team as well at HXP, and between her and I will be responding to that email. So please, if you have questions, you can reach out to us there. It's parentbuilders@humanitarianxp.org. I'll put it in the chat here in just a little bit. But anyway, questions can be directed there at any time. If you have more logistic type questions, that's probably where we'd want that to go. Tonight, we really want to benefit from hearing from experiences from our parent builders. So I'm going to show you guys this quick little video. It's an incredible video that these 2 young guys just went around, which, I mean, sounds pretty rough, right? To just go visit all these incredible places and make an awesome video out of it, but they did an excellent job. So I'm going to turn this on now. Of life. Look at the stars, look how they shine for you. Everything you do
tree of fly is an increased empathy for others all around the world.
The confidence that God loves everyone and that He has a plan for all of us.
Privilege to have so many friends.
No matter the circumstances you're in, you can always choose to be happy.
It's also a connection to God, and to Jesus Christ.
It's a knowledge that we're all God's children.
Yes. No, yeah, yes. To something beautiful. You know I love you so. 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 Look at the stars, look how they shine for you, and all the things that you do.
Awesome. So that kind of shows what an entire trip is like. They're very high energy with really fun sightseeing activities on the weekends, either one weekend if it's a domestic trip or 2 weekends if it's an international trip. And a lot of times people ask, so what do the parent builders do when they're ziplining or when they're snorkeling or when they're at FHE with the ward members? And the parent builders are doing everything with the kids. So that video, just picture yourselves as grown adults in there doing all the fun things that those kids are doing. And that's exactly what it's like for a parent builder. And that's why it's so life-changing for not just the kids, but for parents as well. And likewise for the trip leaders and for all the people that we get to serve and interact with while we're at whatever location we're in. So I hope that gave you a little bit of excitement. They truly are incredible trips, which you're going to hear that here in just a moment. So tonight we have Von Heaston. I'm going to have him introduce himself, as well as Tina Cargis, and Melissa is at a sporting event. There she is. We'll have Melissa introduce herself after Tina as well. And then we had two others that are late and they are going to hop on as soon as they can if they are able after all. So Vaughn, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. Please give us as much information as you want to share so they can get to know you and kind of your experience, and then we'll jump to Tina after that.
Sure. So my name is Vaughn Heaston. Hopefully it's not too echoey in this room. I had to find a quiet spot. I'm from Syracuse, Utah. My daughter had decided that she wanted to do a trip in the year of COVID, and so things were canceled, and we were initially planning to go to the Philippines. That's where I served an LDS mission, and because of all the craziness that came with that, we ended up switching our trip and had just an opportunity to go to Malawi, and we felt like that was to Malawi, Africa. We felt like there was a providential hand in that. We loved it. But it was just it was an awesome experience. For my daughter, she was a little bit nervous to go, and so I think for her it was, it'd be great to have Dad along. And so I had lots of discussions with my wife about making sure that I just let her be who she was and didn't get in her business and let her develop friendships and work. So it's fun to watch her from a distance, but to be, but to be there too. And I mean, we really loved everything about it. There was tons of travel. There was tons of craziness associated with getting through checkpoints and having multiple COVID tests and all that kind of stuff that I'm sure that the next round of parents aren't going to have to deal with all that stuff, knock on wood, right? So, but I think for me, the best part was we just fell in love with the people, and we were there to help to build a couple blocks of schoolrooms for a community with about 2,000 elementary school children that didn't have a school. And it was Spartan work. And so I felt like my job was to try and be the hardest worker, and to try and be security, and to be the first aid guy, and the pep rally when we could, and just to have fun, and be there in the middle of everything, supporting the trip leaders, and giving updates every night on Instagram, and it was just, I couldn't have asked for a better experience. It was absolutely wonderful. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I've got a son that's wanting to go, and he's kind of maybe a year young yet still, so we might be waiting one more to get him to go. But Maddie, does that give you enough as far as an introduction goes?
That was a long way to the mute button. Yes, that was perfect. Thank you, Vaughn. And he may have to step out. He's got an emergency in his ward that came up. So we'll get him as long as we can with some questions, and then Vaughn, whenever you need to, no problem. So Tina, we'll jump to you, and then to Melissa.
Okay, so I'm Tina Kurgis. I'm from Lehi, Utah, and I have 5 kids. My 2 oldest kids did Hefi trips years ago. They went to Fiji and Samoa. And so when my 3rd approached me and said she wanted to go to Africa, I was all excited. And I didn't serve my mission in Africa, but I served a mission where I taught a lot of Africans. So I had this love of the people, especially of Ghana. And so when she showed interest in that, I kind of got excited thinking, oh, maybe I should go with her. But like you guys, I maybe like a lot of you, I had some hesitations about going with her because I wanted her to have her own experience. We actually signed her up before I signed up on a different trip. And then the more I thought about it, the more I realized, one, I'd never have a chance to go to Ghana again. It's not like a high vacation spot, right? That we all decide to go on vacation. But 2, that I just wanted to be able to experience that with her and share that with her. So luckily there was a trip still open that needed a mom builder, and we went. And, I say the same thing. I would go again in a heartbeat. I have 2 more kids, and my husband and I are actually like fighting over who gets to go next, because he hears our stories and can't wait to experience that as well. And I'm like, I'm ready to go again. So there's a little bit about me.
Okay, Melissa, if you can give us a little intro. If not, we can jump to questions. I know you're at a loud sporting event.
Okay. Yeah, I hope you can hear me. I'm at the BYU Nationals in Alabama.
We're
so
good. We can
sorry.
hear you great. You're good.
Okay, good. Yes, I'm Melissa Pennock. My daughter attended HEFY years and years and years ago, and now it's HXP. But anyway, she was obsessed with it, and now she's a program coordinator, Brianna Pennock. And so we have caught the fire of the program. My other daughter, Haley Pennock, served in Paraguay, which is where my son served his mission. And so it was really cool for her to go to his mission and meet some of the same people. And then my daughter served last year in Dominican Republic with my husband. And then I went to Florida with my son. So we are heavily invested in this program, and we are obsessed. And I became a parent builder because I don't have the best relationship with my 15-year-old. He's struggling to like me and want to be with me. He's kind of just sowing his independent roots. And so our relationship was super rocky. And so I signed him up and signed myself up, even though he didn't want me to go, because I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to be able to get outside of life at home and do something for somebody else and maybe grow closer together just outside of our home life. And it was the best decision I've ever made, ever. Because as a parent builder, your only job Your only job is to take pictures and post on Instagram and have fun. Like, I didn't have to be a parent, and that was the best thing ever. Like, the best news ever to me was I just turned the kids over to the trip leaders, and they were the parents. And actually, they shouldn't call us parent builders because you're not a parent on the trip. You just get to hide in the woodwork, stand in the background, do everything fun, but you don't have to like tell the kids to like settle down or be quiet or even go to bed. Like, it was awesome. And to me, that was so bonding of an experience, because my son so enjoyed so much being with me on a trip when I wasn't his mom. I was just a friend, a picture taker. I was there having fun, surfing in the ocean, paddleboarding with all the kids. Like Maddie said, like, you do everything with the kids. So you're basically a kid that doesn't have to do anything like as far as follow rules, I guess. Anyway, but I mean, you're basically a kid. And then it was such a joy to take pictures of these kids. And every day I just had so much fun being creative on Instagram and posting things that we did and highlighting a kid each time and letting all their parents see them. I tried to get, as many kids as I could in the picture so their parents could see them and let them know what they're doing. And our relationship like took a 180, and it's not 100% back, but oh my gosh, it just changed everything. And I seriously think every single parent should be like trying to be a parent builder. I'm shocked if there are any spots open, because it's the best experience ever to go with your kid on a trip and just serve, but it's all planned out. There's other kids being the parents for you, and you just get to be there to support and serve and love and take pictures. Anyway, so I just think Parent Builder is the most coveted spot in the world ever. And I'm shocked if there ever are any spots open, because I feel like every parent would just want to go with their kid. I wish I could go. He's going to Brazil this year and is absolutely like putting his foot down. Like, I can't go. I was lucky to be able to go with him last time. So I'm kind of bummed because I probably won't be able to go, but my husband went with my daughter last year and same thing, just had the best experience. And so I highly recommend Parent Builder to anybody and everybody. If you have a close relationship with your kid, or if you don't have a close relationship with your kid, either way, you will grow closer to your kid. You will grow close to all the other kids, and you'll have a personal, like, best experience. And I'm from Linden, Utah. I didn't really introduce myself.
I was going to say too, I was going to circle back because Melissa just reminded me too that, I got a chance to, while I was serving, it was Father's Day. And so a lot of the kids were missing their dads. And so we did a special video and sent that home. But I got lots of hugs that day. And they, from that point on in the trip, they called me Papa Vaughn every day. And it just ended up being a really special thing where they were close. And I text a lot of the kids back and forth all the time now. I just got called to be a bishop right before we left on our trip. And so we talked about that on the trip, and they wanted to, they wanted to stay in touch. And so I've had, lots of, hey, I'm checking in, or I have this problem, to talk to you about it. And it just, since we come home, we have kind of this little almost handshake thing we do. And she just calls me best friend all the time now, right? It's just been different. It was an experience that I don't think we could have had any other way. And to Melissa's point, I don't know that I would imagine that it was going to be as awesome as it was, but knowing that, should be just fighting and clamoring to be able to go. It is an investment of time, but such a small investment for the return that I got on it. I really loved it.
Thanks, Vaughn. Okay, we want to go to any questions. So again, you're welcome to shout them out or put them in the chat if that's more comfortable, but they can be a specific question towards one of these parents, or if you'd have just a general question that any of them can answer, that's also great too. It's sometimes slow to get started. I know that's nerve-wracking to be the first question. I can jump in with one that we get a lot of times if that.
And since I might jump off here quick, Maddie, too, maybe I'll just jump in with one of the things I was concerned about is I just didn't know how prepared I'd be. I felt like where am I going to get all the information that I need, and how am I going to know all of the stuff that I need to pack, and the logistics and all that kind of stuff. And as soon as the trip leaders and everything were assigned, we kind of got a group me page going between the trip leaders and the other parent builder and myself. And it just took off from there. It was great. And we, between that and the constant communication and reminders from Maddie and her team, it was fine. We had everything we needed. We had lots of checking in with the kids. That, you know, my daughter was so excited to participate on Zoom calls, and so, you know, as far as preparation and information and what we needed to be able to go, there weren't any concerns there. We got everything that we needed, and there was always someone available to help if we needed.
Thanks, Vaughn.
I just wanted to add to that the trip leaders, I know they have hundreds and hundreds of applications for trip leaders, and they can only select a small percentage of the kids that actually apply to be trip leaders. And so I know the trip leaders are the cream of the crop. And so with that in mind, like your kids are in perfect hands with these trip leaders, to where you as a parent can just sit back and just kind of be support and just love the kids and take pictures and participate and have fun and let the trip leaders take control. And that's like the best thing ever.
I have a quick question. So when I log into my Humanitarian XP account, I actually have 2 daughters that I'm going with at 2 different times. So I'm super duper lucky, and I'm like really excited about it. But when I log in, I have to click on my daughter, and then it opens up a dashboard, but her dashboard looks the exact same as mine. So am I supposed to be going through the checklist that's in there, or is there a separate place I should be going to do my parent builder checklist? Does that make sense?
Yes, that's a great question. And have you emailed me by chance at all with any of this?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll give you a little pointer, and then how about send me an email and I can go in on my end and we can make sure that it is all ironed out. But since you're going with 2 daughters, and I actually don't know for sure. Basically, when you log in with your account, your email account, then you'll be able to you'll see your checklist, which we're going to make that more clear. Our developer's working on that right now, actually, to specify which checklist is which. And then if you were to log out and log in with your daughter's account, then you'd for sure be on hers. And we're also going to get the feature where you can just kind of toggle between all different accounts. That's coming. So send me an email and we can keep working through this to make sure we get you all straight on those checklists, because you have a lot to juggle around there.
For sure.
On mine, I can log in under my name, and I can see me and my son's name on there. And then I can also log in on his email, and it's all set up for him as well. So it's almost like my son is on there double.
Okay. Yeah. Again, send me an email. I think we're going to get this all cleared up. I think that's exactly what our developer's working on since our checklist just went live. We're getting questions about that. So hopefully it's going to be clear, but please, I can always go in and confirm that what we're seeing is right. So
I might not have time to do that tomorrow. Are you guys in the office and answering emails next week?
We'll be answering emails. We're not in the office, but we'll be answering emails here and there. So I can definitely reach out to you when you reach out to me. So I'll be watching.
That sounds good. And I just
there was
sorry, make sure I send that email to
parent builders with an S at humanitarianxp.org.
Builder humanitarian. I'm just typing it into the email box right now.
Okay, perfect. Yes, send me any of those concerns or that, and I can help you get those worked out. So
There were two questions in the chat box. One was, can parent builders FaceTime family? Yeah, parent builders, you can be on your phone the whole time. So you can FaceTime your family, you can call your family, you can do whatever you want. It's just the kids that don't have their phones, and the trip leaders have their phones as well. But it's awesome. Like the kids actually, I think that's their favorite part about the trip, is not being on their phone. And then you don't, as a parent builder, want to let the kids be on your phone either. So the kids aren't supposed to be on your phone or their phones, but you as a parent builder can do whatever you want on your phone. It's like you're the mission president, they're the missionaries or whatever. But then there was another question about fundraising. One thing that we did with our daughter and son that was really fun to raise money, that doesn't sound fun, but it actually is fun, is we clean garbage cans in our neighborhood. And we just like loaded all the garbage cans up on a trailer, and we just drove around the neighborhood. And well, first we handed out flyers, I guess. But anyway, you drive around, pick up all the garbage cans, bring them back to your cul-de-sac and spray them out with a pressure washer. And then you can get chemicals to put in there to make them smell good or whatever, and take them back to people. And there's hardly a neighbor that doesn't want their garbage can cleaned. And it's a really fun activity for the whole family that you can all do together. And it's a good money maker. And so that's one that we did that was pretty successful. And another thing that we did was we did a pickleball tournament, and that was really fun. We've also done a soccer tournament, but I think any like sports program or tournament or whatever is a good money maker, because people will donate even if they can't participate. But a lot of people want to participate. So that's just a couple ideas of some fundraising that we did.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. And now Tina, how about you can answer those two questions as well?
Yeah, so I was just going back to the one where the question about, can we talk to our families? One of the things I tried to do, and again, this was kind of internet dependent. We didn't always have like great Wi-Fi in some of the places where we were at. So it wasn't always super accessible to call, but I would just kind of make sure that I would step away from the kids. They all knew that I had my phone. They knew that the parents were allowed to do those kind of things. The dad builder that I was with, he had to, do some work while we were there. But it wasn't like I wanted to go flaunt it. Another reason I did that is because my daughter herself wanted to talk to family at home, which I didn't think was really fair if she got to and the other kids didn't. So just be aware, just kind of be cautious that the kids are there. And, some of them may be homesick and it might stir up feelings. So I was just, aware of what was going on and tried to either do it in the evening when everyone was kind of settling down, or, if they were swimming and I was not, things like that, where it was just kind of away from the group. And then as far as fundraising, I actually didn't do any fundraising. I probably should have, but we didn't. But I heard another parent builder say that they kind of just looked at what, their kids' talents were. If you've got that's really great at baking, have a bake sale. If you, have a kid that's really good. I think my oldest daughter actually did this. She held some like day camps for kids and, had activities, which helped her to raise some money. Just kind of look at your kids or your talents and see where you can share those. And, was said earlier, people are willing to donate. People want to help out in any way they can, even if they can't, I don't know, if they don't have a garbage can or whatever, if they don't play soccer, people want to help out and support you.
Thanks, Tina. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's also really effective. Oh, sorry. It's also really effective just to reach out to businesses and let them know what you're doing, and reach out to friends and family and let them know what you're doing and see if they would like to contribute, and give them like a ton of detail. Like, I'm going to this country to serve these people, to do this company, and then send them pictures when you get home and tell them thank you. And we've done that too. And I mean, we're a family where we don't necessarily need the fundraising as far as the money goes, but I just like my kids to participate in earning the money for the opportunity to earn money to go and do something. And that's a great way also, just to reach out to friends and family and let them know what you're doing and let them all help contribute.
Okay, how about the question, how is sleep? Is there an opportunity to get enough? It's such a good question. And Tina, if you want to start this one off and kind of explain like how your accommodation was, because parent builders, they do sleep in the room with the kids. Every place you're going to be is going to be different as far as, is it a guest house, a hostel, a hotel, it's all going to be very different, but the whole principle of the parent builders in with the kids is the same across the board. That helps us in a ton of ways with safety and everything else. And it's a non-negotiable. You don't get your own room, but that's some of the best parts. So Tina, if you want to speak to that.
Yeah. So we had 3 rooms for the girls. And yeah, I was with girls every time. And like Maddie said, it was one of the greatest experiences because it was like pillow talk, right? At night, we really bonded and got to know one another. And it was kind of fun because you feel like you're just one of the kids. You share, your first kiss experience, and they really connect with you, which I loved. One of the things that I was really happy that I did, and not necessarily that I did this, but the trip leaders made these arrangements. We kind of talked a little bit about it, but I never shared a room with my own daughter, which I thought was good. I gave her her own space to be able to, make new friends and bond without mom being there, to be able to share her own experiences without me. Not that, she had anything secret to share, but just that it gave her her own space for her own experience, but yet I was still there. As far as actually like getting sleep, I don't know if that was the question or if it was more sleeping arrangements. You were on the go all the time. So yeah, there were opportunities on long bus rides to sleep. I feel like I don't know, I got up a little bit earlier than the girls in my room to give them extra time to get ready, extra time to sleep. And then I was usually up late at night posting on Instagram. But I don't know, maybe there's just something about being on the trip and serving that you're just blessed. Like, I was okay. I wasn't overly tired. I was still able to go to the work site and feel energized and do the work that needed to get done. So I just, if I needed to sleep, I took advantage of those bus rides and just dozed off as much as I could. But yeah, it wasn't an issue.
That's awesome. Melissa, do you have anything
Something fun. Yeah, I had the younger kids. I had the 14 and 15-year-olds, and it was really, really hard for our trip leaders to get them to go to bed. So they actually asked me to kind of step in and help a little bit because they were struggling. And that was about the only time that I actually helped out with anything. Other than that, they handled everything just fine. But so what I did was I actually brought a speaker, which I think is really important. You need to bring a nice, good speaker. Like, you have to have music the whole time. So anyway, but your trip leader should bring one, but it's helpful for parent builders to bring one as well. Anyway, I just played like some really calm, soothing, like yoga music. And I had this Bath and Body sleep lotion that I always just travel with. I put on all the girls' hands and on their wrists. And then I just did some like meditation and yoga with them. And then just let them listen to this like really calming, soothing music. And it just really helped. It got them to go to sleep. It calmed them down because they just wanted to be with the boys. It's so hard to get them to like leave the boys, go to your side of the compound or whatever. Anyway, and they actually begged for every night. Okay, we're ready for that. And they were ready to leave the boys and go do their yoga and kind of their calm down. And we also did a little pillow talk too as well, which is so cute to hear them ask you questions. And like I would ask them like, what's your greatest fear? And we all go around and share our greatest fear. What's your greatest joy? And we'd all go around and share. And it was awesome. So I think that's great. But I think the best thing, somebody asked like, what are some of the best things you can do to prepare for the trip? Just get a ton of sleep before you go and just plan on it. Like, you're not going to get your 8 hours of sleep or even your 6 hours. You're just not going to get sleep. And you just have to prepare for that and not be worried about it. Like, you'll survive, you're fine. Just get lots of sleep before you go. And that's one of the best things you can do to prepare so that mentally you don't worry about it. Just don't keep track. Just not going to sleep, and that's fine.
So I wanted to answer that question as well. When we did our parent builder training, one of the things that they told us to do is to start praying for the kids. And then they sent us a list, no pictures or any information, but just a list of the names of the kids. And I thought, how am I supposed to like get to know these kids or pray for them in preparation for this trip and learning who they are or whatever. But I took it to heart, and I just every night would go down the list of names. And it's interesting because I look back now and some of the things that I prayed for were really I don't know why, but just came to me. And as I got to know the kids later, I could see why. Maybe I was praying for those things. So it was a really cool experience. But I really think just really preparing yourself, spiritually, emotionally, physically, to have the trip. I knew that there were going to be questions or experiences that the kids would share with me. And I just wanted to be prepared to be able to help them through whatever it was they were going through. I didn't want to, say the wrong thing. So I just kind of prepared myself in those areas so that when those moments came, when we were sitting and talking and they shared some of their hardest times with me, I could be there as a support and a strength to them. So that's kind of what I did to prepare.
I love that you shared that, Tina, because I forgot I did that as well. I opened like a new note on my phone called HEFY. So I guess now it's HXP or whatever. But anyway, and I put each kid in my phone. And then in the group chat that the trip leaders started, the trip leaders were asking them questions and the kids would get on there and answer the questions. I put all those questions in my phone. Like, what are your hobbies at school? And I don't know, like, what's your favorite ice cream? Or I don't know, they just had like some random questions that they asked the kids. And like, if you could be an animal, what would it be or whatever? And I just like put all that in my phone. And then I did what you did, because I didn't have pictures either, but so my husband did. My husband got pictures, I didn't. But anyway, and I just memorized diligently, like, okay, Maddie wants to be a lion. She loves peanut butter ice cream, and she is a dancer and a volleyball player at her high school or whatever. And I just like kept track of that all the time. Oh, and then I also did in my mental, she has long blonde hair and wears glasses. Like, I had to know, because like she mentioned that or whatever. And then as it got closer, the trip leaders did video chats, and every kid had to submit like a video of themselves saying, hey, and it was like 10 seconds long. And so I just studied that video. I'm like, okay. And she like is wearing a cat sweatshirt or whatever, or I don't know. Or like her room has pink wallpaper. And I just like tried to write down everything that I could possibly like get, so that when we met the girls and the guys, I could instantly connect with them on some level. Like, oh, hey, I played volleyball in high school or whatever. Or I cheered in high school, and like we have that connection, and it just made a huge difference, so that they felt like I loved them like I did. I already loved them before I met them, and I wanted them to know that. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's a huge part of it.
Both of those answers were so great, because if you haven't gathered yet, the role of a parent builder is all about the builders. By the parent builder focusing all of their attention, everything, all their needs on these kids, either 12 kids on a domestic trip or 19 kids on an international trip, you yourself are changed. And that's why it is so incredible and impactful for you, because you really are just bringing in all these new kids into your heart. So that was so awesome. And every parent builder does go through we do a training that will be sometime in April, that if you're signed up for a trip already, you'll be able to see those training dates available that you can sign up for. But there will be other things as well that you're able to do in preparation in addition. And what Tina and Melissa said was so perfect. So thank you. Law's family. I know that's probably it's not your first name, but I'll run with this. Okay.
It's Brad.
Brad. Okay. I'm gonna remember that. Brad Laws. Where are you going?
We are going to Zimbabwe.
That's where I went last summer as a trip leader. That's so awesome.
Nice.
Okay. So the question about seeing how much has been donated, that's a great question. So we actually just this system that we're using right now was brand new last year. And so we were figuring everything out. And then we basically revamped it all this year to make it more user-friendly, but we're not quite there yet. We're still adding and changing and getting things a little better. So there should be a page on there, on your checklist, a pay for your trip page. If that doesn't have all this information yet, then that's where it is going to be, I would imagine. Include this in your email to me about your checklist, and I'm going to follow up on this with our developer and see where he's at and making sure that's donated or visible to you. In the meantime, I can ask our accountant to see if anything has come through as well, because that's a great question that a lot of people do want to know and keep track of, to see how much people have raised and whatnot. So
okay.
Oh, cute question from Erica for the trash can cleaning. How much did you charge per trash can for your fundraising? That was you, Melissa, right? She may be congratulating someone. Oh, nope, she's not there. Okay, if she comes back, we'll ask her because it's a great question. I remember my first trip as a trip leader was in 2015, and I had one kid, his name was Quentin, and he raised the entire cost of his trip to Tonga by doing this. He had his name of his business was Quintessential Can Cleaning, and he cleaned trash cans. And I can't wait to have my children start that business one day because I think it is genius.
We actually did that in our ward this past summer, and we charged like 10 to 15 bucks per can.
Okay.
But they were raising it for an activity. So, but yeah, a lot of people sign up. It works pretty good.
That is so fun. Such a good idea. I love we'll include some more fundraising ideas too to send out throughout this time as you guys are preparing as parent builders and everything as well. This is a great question as well, one that we get asked a lot. So just to confirm, the domestic flight that's connecting to meet your group for our international trips, that's not a part of the dollar amount. Is that correct? So that is correct. The trip price, I don't need to answer this. I'm not the one answering these questions. I'm not on the panel. Tina, do you want to respond to this?
Well, it's a logistic thing, so I always figure you're going to answer those. Yeah, our I guess departure airport was Chicago. All the kids were responsible financially to get to that airport where we all met up, and then that's where our trip really started. So yes, financially you are responsible to get yourself to the departure airport. You need any more information on that?
No, I figured that was the case. I wasn't sure. So
yeah, and you can fly, or if you're close enough, you could drive. We had kids driving to Chicago. I remember when my daughter went to Fiji, her departure airport was LAX, and so we made a road trip and went down there and dropped her off, and the rest of us had a party while she was gone. But it's just up to you.
Sounds good.
And that goes with our domestic flights as well. The trip price posted on our website, that is the price they still meet at the airport, but they don't have a group flight together. But that flight to get them to that airport meeting location is not included in the trip price. But everything from on the trip, once you're at that airport, like Tina was saying, once the trip begins, everything's included besides souvenirs. And if there's like additional food you want to buy. So at that point, then you're locked in. You really don't have to worry about too much. I know a cost that parent builders in the past, that when I've been on trips with parent builders, things that they've probably paid for again is souvenirs, of course. And then also depending on the country that I've been in, I've only done our international trips, but they've purchased data to be able to use their phone to call back home or whatever. That was several years ago. So actually that may not be as common these days. When I was in Zimbabwe this last summer, we just used Wi-Fi anytime we had Wi-Fi, and we didn't really bother to purchase any additional. But that is another cost that you could have with being a parent builder. Okay, the next question in the chat is, are the flights in the afternoon? Do we have to get to the departure city the day before? I'll answer this one because I see a little bit more trips than just our two that have been. Our flights leave at all times of the day. We do try our very best to have them leave late in the day. So the day that your trip starts should most of the time be the day that you can expect to leave for the airport to wherever you're flying to. But there are a lot of circumstances where, yes, we may suggest we don't suggest flights, but we have a pretty firm recommendation that you arrive 4 hours before your international flight departure time. And sometimes that makes it so that you need to do a red-eye flight. And at that point, the kids are already talking in their group me. So they're already saying, hey, I'm coming from Boise. Well, I'm coming from San Diego. And then they kind of all can talk about which flight they're going to be on. A lot of times it just all works out most of the time that kids aren't alone, or if they are alone on that flight, as soon as they touch down in that airport, there's already 3 other kids that are there, and they rally together and hang out together until it's time for the group to meet up. So you'll receive your international flight or your domestic location meetup. I believe it's 90 days before your trip. And that's because we experienced this so much last year just because of the circumstances that we're all in right now. But it's every year, and most likely again this year, that our airlines are just changing things on us left and right. And if we tell you right now, this is the flight that we have temporarily reserved, you guys all buy your flights, and then 90 days before they change on us, then you guys are now stuck purchasing new domestic flights, and that's really frustrating. So we really try to just give it to you when we know it's not going to change, which unfortunately they change all the time. So and that's again also why we recommend the 400 or strongly suggest I didn't mean to say 400, the 4 hours, because if there is a small little discrepancy in the time, it doesn't typically ruin any plans that you guys have already made. Can we bring things like books, small toys, soccer balls to inflate to give to the children in the areas we'll be serving? I'll let you guys answer that.
Am I the only one still on?
Oh, Melissa.
I was told that
Go ahead.
we are not allowed to give anything out.
That's
That they encourage us not to give anything out, give anything away. We're just there to serve and get to know the people and build relationships with the people that you're serving or the kids in the area, and like spend time with them, but not to give them anything, which is kind of nice actually.
Yeah, that's the same experience we had. I remember we went into a small village in Ghana, and some of the kids started asking for the builder's bracelets, and there just wasn't even enough to go around, and some of the kids felt bad if their friend got one and they didn't, and it kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say it caused problems, but you could tell that there were some kids that felt bad that they didn't get what their other friend did, and so we just kind of made it rule after that, like, even if you have an extra bracelet or whatever, just don't give it away. So I did get a question. I think it was direct to me. And Maddie, you might be able to tell the logistics of this, but they were wondering if they could pay to upgrade their seat on the international flight. My guess is, and Maddie, you can verify this, my guess is not. But the recommendation I have is you have so much time on those flights to sit next to the kids and get to know them, that even though they're long and it's hard on your body, I highly recommend you take that time and sit next to those kids, and really you can just bond. I know they'll sleep a little bit, but some of our best experiences were sitting, talking on the plane rides over and playing games and getting to know each other. So I don't know if there's actual policy on that, but I would not recommend it. I would recommend sitting with the kids.
Great question. Yeah, so I actually don't know the 100% logistic behind that. I imagine you could probably go to the counter and pay there. But as far as anything on our end, you're just within a group booking, and we keep those group bookings just all together. And with that, you're seated by the kids, like Tina was saying, which we also really appreciate. Just our parent builders and our trip leaders really are just a team there to help keep everyone safe. I mean, traveling with 19 kids internationally, or even 12 kids on bus rides and different things, it's a huge risk that we have, and we really rely on our parent builders to be there as a team with our trip leaders to keep them safe and just aware of where they are at all times. So we would ask that you, like Tina said, hang out with the kids, because it's the best part. I wanted to make one additional note on the bringing toys and things. You'll be able to read more about this on our website, but it is our policy as of a handful of years ago, called our no trace trip policy. And we are very big advocates for doing the most amount of good with the least amount of harm. And we've noticed as we go into these countries or locations, and we just bring suitcases full of candy and toys and everything. We're just creating this dependency. We're creating more issues for further healthcare providers to need to go in and do service in those ways to help fix their teeth or whatever it may be, or just, again, just the mere fact of, as soon as they see these people from America, they start asking, can I have your shoes? Can I have your watch? Can I have this? And these kids feel terrible and they want to give it to them, but we know that is not the best thing for their economy, and we do not want to do that. So we have a very firm policy to not bring anything, which can be hard for people. I know it's very hard when you're going to these places that you really do want to be able to give the shirt off your back. We will finish with a few of these last questions, and then I just like to try to keep these to an hour. We don't want to take you away from too much that's going on at your guys' homes. So are there two parent builders or just one? I can quickly answer that. There's two, a mom and a dad on every trip. So it's nice to have a team and another parent to talk to. And then you really do get to work as a team with the trip leaders, which creates a really fun dynamic. Okay, Tina, I guess this one's focused at you for international. Is it recommended to bring foreign currency? What was your experience in Ghana?
I didn't bring any with me. I think I had, like $200 in cash. I had my debit card, but once we got there, we went